This is a 2020 Volvo V60 Cross Country, and it is now a practical Volvo. Before I get into the review and to tell you why this is now a practical car, I want to tell you a little overview about the V60. So the V60 was released in 2010 around fall, and it was supposed to be a smaller version, a smaller wagon to compete with the XC70 wagon that they already had. Sadly though, after the XC70 was discontinued, they introduced the V60 was still around, and then they came out with the all-new V90, which is the longer wagon that Volvo has. Right now, there are only two wagons in their lineup, the V60 and the V90. Other than that, there is no other station wagon in Volvo's lineup. There are only two. On a tour of this V60 to show you its quirks and features, to tell you why it is now a practical wagon. Enjoy the video. Start off with the key fob. The key fob is your general, normal Volvo key fob. But one thing you have to note is that it's actually wrapped in leather. This thing is actually wrapped in leather. It's the same leather that's in the car, and I find that a pretty cool touch. All the buttons are on the side, so they don't poke you in their pocket, and you don't accidentally open something. Onto the front of the V60, and starting out with the headlights. These headlights are actually called Thor's hammer headlights because, well, they look like Thor's hammer. I actually really like this look, and I think it looks better than the XC90 headlights, even though the XC90 headlights have the Thor's hammer look too. I think this one's stand out just a little bit more than the XC90s, and as well as the actual headlight goes beyond where it's actually supposed to end, which I find pretty cool. It's a very unusually shaped Moving on to the side, where it's this giant aluminum skid plate that actually says cross country on it, to know that that's what you're looking for, to tell that if from a normal V60 to this V60, that it says cross country on the side, as well as to know it's also a cross country. All this black plastic cladding to protect from when you're going cross country. That's what all of this is for. That's how you know it's a cross country, is all this black plastic and this aluminum skid plate. Another thing to note about this new V60 is the design. So the old V60 slanted down, and that's really what made it impractical, was the slanted down trunk line. However, this one, it's a little bit more evened out, and it's not as slanted anymore. So as you can see, even though yes, it is a little bit slanted around here, it is a lot more practical inside once I show you. So you open the trunk here, and it's actually really, really practical. So as you can see, as you open the trunk here, the space between here and here is bigger than the one in the older V60. You can also see beyond this little hump here, you actually do have a lot more space, and with the panoramic sunroof, that gives it a lot more space and a lot more clearance as well. Interesting quirk is this button right here. You obviously have this button, which obviously closes the rear hatch. It is very common on most wagons, but one that isn't common is this button right here, which if you press it, has a little car and a lock. You press it, I'm gonna walk away, I'm not holding the key in my hand at all. You close the tailgate, and it locks for you. How brilliant is that? On to the interior of this car. But before you do that, I want to show you a great feature with this car called keyless entry. Pretty much every single car has it standard these days. You have the key in your pocket, as you can see. Pull the handle, the door opens. Pull the handle, push back the handle, press the button, and it closes. And that works for all 4 doors. Come on. It doesn't really work that well there it goes, in the rain, and even the trunk, it works. So all 5 doors on the car, it works with, which I have to say, great feature that this actually car has its standard, which is a pretty good feature. Right. So stepping inside, this one has the black leather interior. So this one, it just has the basic leather interior, which you can't go wrong with. This one is just as comfortable. You could go with the Napa leather, but that is really rare to find on this specific type of car. But this basic leather works just fine. And I just have to say, I love the look of this interior. It might look very confusing, which leads people to buy the older V60, but after this video, I bet most people that watch this, they're gonna go buy a newer V60 after I tell them that this infotainment system isn't really that hard. Stepping inside from this terrible weather today, and you can see that just from a start point, it is very more high-tech than the older 60s. You can tell that the center console is more higher up, and it's not just a big center stack. It's mainly all of it is just entered into this screen here, which I'll get into in a minute. Another feature with this car is the way you start it. So the older V60s, you have the key, you put it in a slot somewhere around here, you push a button, and then it goes vroom. This one, has this little dial down here, which is start, engine, stop. You turn this, and it's a really exhilarating way to start the car. So you turn this, and it starts the car. So you put your foot on the brake, and you turn this to start. So the car started. And I really just love turning this knob because it's really exhilarating to turn this knob in that T5 engine roars to life. Review with the seat control. So obviously the back presses power and the front and goes up and down. That's all power. Your lumbar is power. But what's really interesting is this switch down here, which controls something I never thought existed. So if you come down here, you switch this switch up. You see it says lumbar. And then you tilt the switch down. You see it says cushion extension. This is a cushion that extends, so for people that have longer legs, it's more comfortable to them, which I have to say we don't have on our XC90, but I wish it did, because honestly the one major complaint with the XC90 seats is that they're very thin. For the people that have longer legs, they just have a big gap, like right in the middle of their leg, between the seat and the leg. But with this, it's actually really easy, and it's better to sit. It makes this car a lot more comfortable. Quirk is the wood on the dashboard. It starts over here, and it's actually this really nice, well-crafted wood, which actually came off from a cliff in Sweden, which is very interesting. But the wood continues throughout the dashboard, but it doesn't continue in the back seat, which I have to say is, pretty interesting. This wood is insanely well, it must be really well crafted, but I have to say I really like the look of the wood, and it just looks it makes you feel like you're in a really nice luxury car, which that's what they want you to feel. Something down here, the drive mode selector. This drive mode selector is actually made out of crystal. So is around here is made out of crystal, and around here is made out of crystal, which I have to say is very interesting. But you push that, and you have 4 different drive modes to use, and I bet no one even uses them. But you have Eco, which is efficient drive. When you change it, the rev dial changes to a little electric Eco dial. You have comfort, you have dynamic, which increases the turbo, and supercharger so the driving's more responsive. And then you have rough road, which won't let you go over 20 miles an hour for some reason. And it puts up a little compass in the center. I do want to mention that this dial is here. This is a screen. So basically, this is fully digital, and so is this fully digital, and both of these things come standard in the XC and all XC models and V60 models, or V models. One thing that doesn't come standard is the heated steering wheel. As you can see, I have it on now, but what I really like about this is it warms up really well, and it even heats up the inside of the wheel as well, and it just feels really nice when you're like holding this wheel and it's actually heated. Sadly, this is a $700 option. Before we move on to the center display, I want to talk about the display themes. If you go into settings right here and go on to my car and go to displays and display themes, you have a lot of themes you can choose from. So the first one you have here is glass. Then you have minimalistic, which looks like this. You have performance, which glows red. And then you have chrome rings, which looks like this. To be honest, I have to say there is no difference between which ones you like. To be honest, I like my display on glass. One thing that people complain about in this car is the audio system, but I have to say this is one of the best audio systems in any car. There's speakers all in the front and all in the back, and it is just one of the nicest and crisp audio systems, and I feel like in any Volvo. Just take a listen. So you have a center channel here, then you have a couple, there are two up here, two on that side, two in the back on each door as well, and then one in the trunk, which I have to say is perfectly needed for this. Let's go over this display, which I feel like a lot of people are wondering about. Is it confusing? It looks so confusing, but it's going to be really easy, and I'm just going to go over it really quickly to show, really brief to show that it is really easy to use. So this is the first channel right here. This is like your menu screen. Swipe left, you have car controls, sport mode, lane keep assist, all of your like settings like you want to settings like that. Then on this side you have your radio controls, and then you can have pre-installed apps like Google to Google things and stuff like that. It's basically like an iPad. You can think of like pull down, you have your notification center, your profile you're in, and then settings, which you have all your settings right here. And one thing that just amazes me is if you go into communication and go to down to I can't even find it now. I don't even know where it's really located, but there are so many different languages in this car, which really blows my mind to see. Like, look, system languages in unit, system language. Look how many languages you can choose from. There's even VLOMs. Here is your navigation, very great navigation system, your radio, Sirius XM, FM, AM, your phone where it's going to be connected, and down here is a pick and choose tab. Right here is car settings. You can see just the oil level from the screen. You can see car messages. You can see your TPMS, so it'll show you what your tire pressures are, and then you can make an appointment just from your center of the screen. A service appointment just on your screen, which is pretty cool. What's my favorite center screen feature? That might be this feature, adjust passenger seat. You click this, and you can use the driver's seat controls to adjust the passenger seat, forward, backward, up, down, and even the lumbar, which I have to say is pretty interesting. You can go forward, backward, up, forward, backward. The backrest can go up. Why would you want this? No idea, but they can put it in here anyway. Let's move on to the back seat of the XC60, or I meant V60. Oops, I get mixed up. But anyways, back seat. Well, so first of all, I have to say it's a lot nicer than the previous generation and even today's generation of wagons. I have to say, one of the best wagons on the market. You have plenty of legroom. You also do have your climate controls. So, for example, you can control the rear climate if the front climate's on. You have heated seats on both sides, which is an option, sadly. And then you also have vents over here, reading light, and it's just mainly a basic car. This moonroof right here, that is a $1,000 option, but most of them come people thinking. The people that are going to be buying this car are going to be putting the seats down. So, has this been improved or made easier? Yes, of course it has. Putting the seats down and making the seats flat is a lot easier than you think. No more going to this store or going to this store. You can do it just from the trunk. So, you pull this and the trunk opens automatically. That's standard. You have this, which you can move out of the way or whatever, which for this video, I'm going to be putting this and retracting it up to this setting so it's easier, then you can do it from here, or we'll do that later actually. Come up to this seat, both headrests drop, and then you can easily push that down, and you can easily go into this side and push that down. They both come off automatically, and look how flat that is. So it's actually 2 feet bigger than the older car, and as you can see, as it completely pours here, you have a lot more space. As you can see, with the seats don't go fully flat because of the raised floor, but that is a huge difference compared to the older V60. One downside of these seats is how actually heavy they are. This one is pretty heavy, but especially with these two, if you get the heated seat package, with all this technology in the seat, this seat becomes very heavy. So I just want to put awareness to that if you do choose to go with the heated seat package, because that has some. One thing I want to touch base on with you and with you guys is the price. Is this cheaper or more expensive? Well, with the new recent redesign, it has become a little bit more expensive. So we have this original window sticker right here, and I want to show you. This is a 2020 V60 T5 all-wheel drive cross-country. So it's a T5, not a T6. So you can get T5, T6, or T8. T8 is a hybrid. T6 is a 416 horsepower, and then T5 is a 250 horsepower engine, which it is just as good as all the other ones. This one the base price is $45,000. The heated rear seats and the heated steering wheel, that's a $750 option. The metallic paint, which this is denim blue, this is $645. Then this one is actually a pretty cool one. This is a Cross Country Pro, so, and that's a $2,800 package. You get all of these things. You can pause the video and read this yourself. The destination charge. So the total price is $50,290. So just over $50,000 for this redesign. Now, the question that I'm going to answer to you guys, which I'm going to be answering in here, is it worth it? Is it worth $50,000? And I'm going to have to definitely say yes. If you're upgrading from an XC70 or a XC, or if you're just coming from a wagon, you want to go to another wagon, this is definitely the replacement wagon for the people that are upgrading from it. And for example, but the thing is that this one was actually pretty delayed. For example, the people that really like the XC70 are my grandparents. They love the XC70. They had multiple for like 40 years, I think, and they were upgrading, and guess what? They don't make the XC70 anymore, and this wasn't out at the time, so they couldn't really upgrade to the newest wagon. And they were looking at an older V60, but it had that really ugly sloped back. And so they eventually upgraded to an XC60, but if this was out sooner, I bet they would probably upgrade to this. But it is 100% worth it. The quality is amazing. This thing is built to solid. It's mainly like a tank. It's so luxurious. Even if you go for a base model with nothing on it, you're still getting a lot more than what you're getting. You're still gonna get more for your money than if you get a base an older V60. So that is my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Peace out.